Traveler, hurry, have a seat. I've heard something, if you have time to listen.
She had lost everything. Her home burned, her parents gone. The valley that raised her left behind in smoke and memory. But grief was not the only thing waiting for Kaylee beyond the mountains. There were secrets she carried, truths she could never reveal. And somewhere in the darkness beside her, a creature that loved her more fiercely than the world would ever understand. Tonight, the road continues, and Kaylee must learn how to survive it. Kaylee lay in a sobbing heap. Her whole body hurt now, inside and out. The ache in her bones and bruises almost nothing compared to the agony that writhed beneath her skin. The spirit pain was worse. It clawed through her chest like something living, something hungry, twisting every breath into a punishment. She lay with her head upon her hands, shoulders heaving, gasping. She had cried before. She had cried as a child, cried when she fell, cried when she was frightened. But never like this. Her voice cracked on the last word. She could not hold herself up any longer. She went limp upon the ground, as if her body had finally given up trying to pretend it could survive this. She stared up at the stars with her hands flung above her head, palms open, fingers trembling. The stars danced across the sky, bright, distant, cold, and they were beautiful in a way that felt cruel. They spun and shimmered and carried on, as if nothing had happened, as if a home hadn't burned, as if two warm hands hadn't gone still, as if Kaylee's whole life hadn't been ripped apart and tossed into the dark. She couldn't move now if the world depended on it. Nay, she just lay there and breathed, barely. Kaylee. Wolfgar's presence filled her mind like a sudden blaze, potent and immediate. Love and care flooded through her, so strong she could only gasp in small, stuttering amounts, as if even his concern made her lungs forget how to work. "My dearest Kaylee," he whispered, so young, so fragile. He came out of the darkness, his great shape moving through the night as if the shadows themselves belonged to him. His massive face lowered close. He nuzzled her hair, slow and deliberate, as if to anchor her to the world again. Then he lay gently beside her, curling his large, warm body to her side, half shelter, half heartbeat, closing the cold distance between her and the night. She was everything he had called her, and she wanted to be none of it. She hated it, hated the weakness, hated the trembling, hated the way grief made her feel like she couldn't even stand inside her own skin. Wolfgar licked at her arm. The wetness startled her, shocking her back into herself. Her eyes blinked wide, then softened as memory rushed in with the sensation. How he had always done this. How he had always comforted her, even when she was small. When she ran too hard and scraped her knee. When she climbed too high and bruised her elbow. When she cried over things that felt enormous at the time, things she now realized had been gentle little sorrows compared to this. He had been patient with her through everything. "The ones you love are truly never dead," he said softly. Her pitiful heap of self-anguish was but a puddle, and he spoke as though his words might gather it back into shape. "They will always be with you. Never should you mourn them in such an awful way. You should rejoice in the life they gave you, and the life they shared with you. Did they not teach you better?" She stirred only a little, tears still coursing down her face, hot and unending. Her heart was broken, and it felt like there were so many pieces, too many, that would need mending. "They taught me so much, Wolfgar. Almost as much as you have. Even thinking was hard, like lifting stone. They were..." She almost didn't have the effort to finish the thought. "They were my parents." Wolfgar made a low grumble, deep in his chest, heavy with something older than the night. Yes, never could they be replaced. But they wanted you to be happy, and even without them, you can be happy. I am sure of that. He tried to rise to all fours, shifting his weight as if duty called him away. But Kaylee rolled over and flung her leg upon him, clumsy, desperate, refusing. He gave a huff. Yet she entangled her fingers in his fur and held on, burying her face fully into the thick warmth of his neck, like a drowning girl clinging to driftwood. "I must go feed now, little fleshling," he warned, trying again. "When you are ready, you must get up. You must be strong. Many things are to come clear to you, and you must be prepared. I will leave you to your thoughts." Kaylee gasped painfully and clutched tighter, panic blooming bright in her throat. He tried once more to pull away. She held. So he sank back down, allowing her sad little attempts to keep him there to win, just this once. "Not completely," she begged, gripping his fur with ferocity. She did not want to be alone. Never again. Wolfgar laughed low, the sound like distant thunder softened by affection. "No, never completely, but just enough so you can think on your own. And if you need me, you know how to bring me to you." She nodded against him. That she did know. "What would I do without you, Wolfgar?" she whispered pitifully, letting her hands fall away a little, cherishing the heat that rolled from him. "Well," he replied dryly, "I do not wish to find out. So let us not ask ill-thought questions." She gave a tired nod and closed her eyes. Nothing would ever be the same. A new life awaited her, but it did not feel possible. There was still so much pain. Then Wolfgar was gone. His presence slipped away, leaving a strange, hollow quiet behind. Yet even as he left, his voice lingered one last time, rough with reluctant care. "Be watchful. That elven is running amok looking for your sorry state." Kaylee couldn't help the crooked grimace that twisted through her grief. In a way, she felt Wolfgar did not want her to be found, as if she was his. Well, she loved being his. She was his fleshling, his ever-companion. She sighed, and exhaustion finally crawled up through her bones and wrapped around her. It took over every fibre. Kaylee woke with a small shake. She lifted her disheveled head and found Donte looking right at her. She startled, heart slamming, jerking backwards so fast she tripped and landed sourly on her rear end. For a moment she simply lay there, stunned and trembling, as if her body had forgotten it was allowed to exist without fear. Donte only smiled. "You've been asleep for a while," he said gently. "I thought you may never wake." She sat up slowly this time, cheeks burning with embarrassment and lingering tears. She brushed grass from her gown with clumsy hands. Donte turned his head away, giving her a sliver of dignity while she fixed herself quickly, smoothing the fabric, pushing hair back, swallowing the shame of being seen like that. When he looked again, she was sure he saw only blotchy eyes, and perhaps a stray blade of grass caught in her hair. "I chased that mare of yours down," he added, gesturing behind him. And sure enough, the large workhorse stood happily munching upon the grass in the field, as if the world had never cracked open. "Thank you," Kaylee said, voice low and harsh, but she forced real gratitude into it. Donte leaned forward on one knee and reached toward her face. Her heart caught, tight and unsure, instinct screaming that closeness meant danger. But he only plucked a piece of grass from her hair, held it up to show her, then tossed it aside. "Just grass," he said softly. "I won't harm you." She was grateful he voiced it. Kaylee didn't have much experience with men. Men had always brought her flowers or gifts, trying to charm their way into her life, and she always had to refuse them, no matter how sweet or innocent their smiles. And always they left saddened, or sour. But this man knew she was not able to wed, not able to be anyone's lover. And still, he was kind. "Forgive me, Donte," she cleared her throat. He stepped up and held out his hand to help her rise. She took it gently. Just like before, his hands were rough and warm and strangely pleasant all at once. Hands that had worked, hands that had held weapons, hands that could lift her without effort. When she stood, she slipped her small hand away, suddenly aware of herself. "I have not had many people be nice to me," she admitted, voice soft, "or say more than what you have to me. I have always been sheltered and you must forgive me." She tilted her head down slightly in respect. When she looked back up, Donte only smiled. "You must learn," he said, "that some men are chivalrous, always seeking justice and peace, and so that would be me." He took a bow and motioned for her to walk to her horse. She did so slowly, ensuring her legs were steady, so she would not trip and fall again like a fool. "It is not right," Donte continued, "if a man does not receive what he wants from a woman, just to throw away that jewel. Truly, I was concerned about your safety, and since I have promised to get you to Mainstay safely, I will do so. I will duly enjoy your company, my lady, no matter how short it may be." Kaylee felt flattered by his words, though they were quick and somewhat to the point. And to her own surprise, she realized she would enjoy his short-lived company as well. Curiosity stirred in her, something tender and unfamiliar. So she asked, voice light despite the ache beneath it, "Do all chivalrous, just, and riotous have such silken tongues?" Donte laughed and wrapped his hands about her waist, lifting her effortlessly to sit in the leather saddle upon her steed. "I hope not," he teased, brow raised. "For how could an unworthy man earn a kiss from a beautiful lady when she has come across so many silk-tongued men before, and has learned better?" Kaylee laughed, cheeks aflame. She knew not much of jesting with the opposite sex, but she had wit. Her father had taught her that, and her mother too, and she would be ashamed if she did not use it. "Then I shall learn from this," she piped up. Donte pointed at her like she had struck him clean. "Oh," he said with delight, "you are silken-tongued as well, my lady." And suddenly he seemed far less daunting than when she had first met him. A softer side. She thought of her father, always two halves, hard and rigid when protecting the farm, and soft, teasing, playful when holding his wife and daughter. Next time. Kaylee travels deeper into the night with Donte and his warriors, but the closer she grows to the man who saved her, the more dangerous the truth becomes. Wolfgar watches. Donte begins to question, and Kaylee must keep the one secret that could destroy them all. Because if they discover what she truly is, the road ahead may become far more deadly than the ogres behind them.
Wasn't that interesting? Now don't forget to subscribe for more.
And ring the bell for your server.